Mr. Hoffman, your scan results are in.
After an unconscionable delay, an absolute indifference from what you insist on calling a staff, I suspect you're in league with some med school to provide extra cadavers.
Dr. Drake is one of the best neurologists in the country.
You keep saying that as if to convince yourself.
And he insists that these results are definitive. You do not have a brain tumor.
Meaning I do not have a brain tumor that anyone in this alleged hospital can find. That's why the hallowed neurosurgeon couldn't tell me himself. He was afraid to break the bad news.
There is no bad news. You're fine. You can go home.
And this is your learned opinion as a candy striper? Are you even old enough to vote?
I'm a doctor. I actually have a wall full of diplomas to prove it. I spent a lot of time at the Sorbonne acquiring them.
In Paris? Ah, je t'aime. The city of light. Oh, the museums, the theater. Where did you live? Which arrondissement?
The 5th. Latin Quarter, actually. I was a research fellow, so the apartment came with the deal. It was right off Saint Michel. It was wonderful.
The restaurants alone in that area? Magnifique!
And they cater to students, so they weren't all that expensive. There was this one bakery. I used to go there every single morning for my coffee and my baguette. I mean, it was so tiny. If you didn't know it was there, you would have walked right by it. If I needed a break or just some conversation, I could pop into any cafe. There would always be someone talking about philosophy or politics or wine or God knows what.
The cafes. Places where people still value culture and intellect, where the art of conversation still thrives.
I miss it.
How did a cosmopolitan woman like you wind up in this hinterland?
Excuse me, Dr. Scorpio?
Yes?
You have 3 patients waiting, and Mr. Hoffman should have been released by now.
I know. Tell Steve I'm on my way.
Okay.
She told you to expel me, didn't she?
There's no evidence of a tumor and your test results are fine.
That means you'll have to release me.
I'm afraid so.
I wouldn't worry. It shouldn't take more than a decade or so for my untimely death from neglect to be erased from your conscience.
Mr. Hoffman, you aren't dying.
My dear, we're all dying.
Okay, well, if you insist, I will schedule a follow-up appointment. Will that make you feel better?
I suppose being admitted for observation would be too much to ask, even though there is definitely something wrong. Just because you can't find it in a casual series of tests doesn't mean it isn't there.
Okay. I'll admit you for one night. All right? But tomorrow, if we don't find anything wrong with you,
I do hate to disappoint a kindred spirit like yourself. But you will soon determine that I am grievously ill. Why else would I be here?